2, 3. Hope that the sound is okay. Hope that the stream will be good. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we have the stream already. Hello my friends and welcome. My name is Denys and this is the latest update from Ukraine. It's the stream, our weekly recap of the events which happened for the last week. Yeah, indeed. Everything that we're gonna speak about is mostly about Ukraine. And at this start of the stream, I want to tell you that I need to close the door. At the beginning of the stream, I want to tell you that I will tell you my thoughts about what is around, and I will not reply to the comments at the first part of the stream, but later on I'm gonna go to the comments only. And if you want to support my job, you can support me on live stream on Super Chat. By the way, can I start the goal? And 10 Super Chats. Drink. I'm gonna drink juice. Yeah, sorry guys, we have to start the goal. Yeah, just start, just in case. Close the window, Denys. What kind of the window? You mean it's it's not gonna be noisy today, I think. Sorry. So, for the last week, there were many of the events happening in Ukraine and around Ukraine. First of all, we see the change on the front lines because the Russian army, they want to reestablish their assault operations all across the front lines, including Pokrovsk. There, in the northern part of the front lines, near Pokrovsk, it's the south actually of Pokrovsk, Ukrainian army took the advantage before. But now, Russia started a couple of more assaults. They sent small sabotage groups to get the ground, and a couple of their missions actually were successful. It started to happen roughly 1 week ago, and we see how Russia basically uses this so-called ceasefire to regroup their forces to restart their attacks. And the main idea for Russian, Eastern ceasefire and the ceasefire that was a couple of days ago is to basically regroup their forces, to reinforce them and to send on attacks. On Easter ceasefire, Russia also used it maybe to aim towards the Republican electorate or MAGA voters in the United States of America to show that Russia is out there, they respect Christianity and those celebrations. But before, Russia haven't announced those ceasefire on previous Easters because the war is happening already for the 4th year. Ryan, thank you so much for support. And now the ceasefire announced by Russia is mainly to back up Putin's parade. So if Ukraine had attacked Russian celebration with foreign leaders there, that would show that Ukraine is not interested in peace, that Ukraine is escalating. That's why Ukraine wasn't able to attack Russian parade, but there were many of the strikes before, so the aviation connections were disturbed, and Russians, some of them spent like 40 hours out there in the Russian airports, were unable to get home on time to celebrate Victory Day with their families, and it was terrible for Russians. But nevertheless, they don't care. Joseph, thank you so much for your support. Thank you guys. I'm gonna read out your comments a little later. And we see how the rhetorics of the White House changes a little. It seems like Donald Trump, he doesn't have other option any longer rather than to apply more sanctions on Russia, because everyone understands that Russia is not active. It's inactive in its peace efforts. If you tell them stop firing for the next 30 days, they're not listening. it is open. It's open for everyone. And Trump he's basically forced to act because he promised himself that he's gonna push two of the sides, either with sanctions or tariffs, as he says. And he during the election campaign, said that he will support Ukraine with more weaponry in case Russia doesn't want to negotiate or wouldn't like to negotiate. Jim, thank you so much. I'm gonna answer the question later on. Just this is the quick weekly recap, the events that I remember happened for the last week, which are important for Ukraine. And later on, we're gonna go to the super chat. Sorry, guys, I'm quite slow because I don't know. I have the headache for the third day consecutive already. I don't know why it's happening, but I have lots of the headaches recently. That's why actually I wasn't able to film the day before yesterday. And nevertheless, the important event also happened around Pakistan and India. Yeah, you may say that it's not touching Ukraine, but everything in the world is interconnected, also those events. Luckily, ceasefire was achieved between India and Pakistan for now. We don't know how events will go later on, but for now, it's definitely a ceasefire. The last time it was like the final point of Pakistan, then they responded on Indian attack of their military bases. We understand that India hit the Pakistani airplanes, including C-130, transport airplane, kind of old but still in use. And it's one of the most capable machines, turboprop airplanes, to deliver some of the cargo or troops. But finally, somehow they managed to negotiate. Maybe India understood that they cannot win this war very fast, and that Pakistan has some of the resistance, because India, actually it was India, to escalate using military forces. Yeah, it was the, as they call, response to some sort of the attack, which happened on Indian tourists, but I think it was just an excuse for India to escalate. They tried, they saw that India shut down at least one of the Rafale jets, it was confirmed. What CNN says about great battle involving 120 airplanes, honestly, I don't believe that. Otherwise, there would be way more losses, let's say. But luckily, yeah, there is no war. Because, first of all, for Ukraine, it's not profitable at all. For everyone, it's not profitable. Because it would take lots of the attention, lots of the efforts from all of those negotiators who are now focused on Ukraine. So everyone would be focused on India-Pakistan war. But now, yeah, still Ukraine is number one topic if we speak about military conflicts. But this conflict, like the war conflict, it shows that, you know, leaders, they're willing to solve their problems using military forces. So Putin actually opened this Pandora box. He started the war, full-scale attack on the neighboring country, unprovoked attack. And he wants to achieve his goal in a military way, in political and in military way. Before, like, there was a long gap after the Second World War. Yeah, there were numerous of the conflicts, but all of them, they were local conflicts, wars. But, you know, they have never been escalating to such a wild events which are happening in Ukraine, especially in the European region. And India-Pakistan, they now have nukes, so the previous war between India and Pakistan was without nukes, and now they have those. It's also interesting. So leaders around the world, they realize that if they escalate to the military confrontation, there will be no international community that will stop them. Unfortunately. And we also understand that if, for example, Putin decides to attack Baltic countries, do you really think that the United States of America would defend those? I don't think so. Under Donald Trump, no, 100%. So Putin has 3 with something months, 3 years with some months to act really on against NATO countries without being really attacked by nuclear missiles. Nick, thank you. I will read your comment later on because I now decided to speak for the first time of this video. Sorry, I have some headache. That's why I'm kind of slow today. Ervid, thank you so much. I will scroll down and I will read super chats later on. Okay, stay with me. Bear with me. So Putin opened this Pandora box. Donald Trump says that America first and it's not our responsibility to act elsewhere. If you open NATO Article 5, you'll see that it's basically the Budapest Memorandum that Ukraine signed, giving up nuclear weaponry. So it's basically not forcing or not obligating any kind of the side of allies to really send their military forces to protect other allies of NATO. No, there are some efforts, consultations. So just open and read it out. It's total nonsense. So 5th article is valid if we speak about the political will. So during the Second World War, it was understandable that allies would protect each other. Now, no. Now everyone plays its own game, its own interests, and the world community actually led to this stupid war, which is now happening in Ukraine. I mean, inaction, you know. It started maybe even from Chechnya. Then Russia was just led to take and occupy those territories of Chechnya. Then they were bombing homes and cities. The capital city of Grozny was destroyed, thousands of life losses. But the world community was okay. It is the part of Russia or something. Yeah, some parts supported it, but just morally, you know. It was crazy. Then Georgia. What happened to Georgia, you know? United States and allies could send their reinforcements, land in Georgia, you know, be proactive. I'm not speaking about direct military confrontation with Russia, but land the forces and let them stay there, and Russia would be shocked in that case. Crimea, you know, we already understand that Barack Obama called to temporary government of Ukraine. By the time it was revolution in Ukraine, Yanukovych left the country, and Americans called to temporary government and say, no, do not defend Crimea, we don't want to escalate. And next what? Minsk agreements, all right. Merkel was up to Minsk agreements, let's sign something with Russia, let's do the ceasefire. It was a ceasefire for many years actually. And Ukraine started to develop with regions occupied, including Crimea. But this conflict is not over, so Putin started a full-scale war. And what is next? Everyone was waiting for Ukraine to collapse in days or weeks. And I even heard the voices of disappointment that Ukraine didn't collapse. Wow, they resist. Wow, how could they? We didn't expect it to happen, you know. Now we have to support them. But even that support was really hard to achieve. Really hard. Like Americans, they do have like hundreds of tanks out there in storages. And Ukraine received 35 maybe Abrams tanks. Remember how hard it was to get something from Scholz? Or, I don't know, the drama with F-16s. It is crazy. During the Second World War, how allies supported crazy Soviet Union with totally opposite communist ideology. They supported with brand new airplanes, P-40 by the time. Lots of the Lend-Lease was coming to the Soviet Union. State-of-art military equipment by the time. And now Ukraine, just limited, limited support. Atomic Burrito, thank you so much for your awesome support. You're awesome. Thank you for your generosity. So I'm saying that if we do not want, let's say, to escalate, if world community and those politicians, they don't want to escalate, they will receive the Third World War, because Putin just got encouraged by not being taken under, how to say it in English, responsibility. Yeah, he's basically without responsibility. There is no prompt action from allies, from Western democracies. And Putin sees that. He understands that, for example, he will have almost the same amount of support from North Korea than Ukraine has from the United States. Just imagine, 60% of the artillery shells are coming from North Korea. 60% to Russia. And Ukraine got, with Czech initiative, several times less. I remember maybe 8 million shells were coming to Russia from North Korea, and Ukraine got 2 million shells, I think, if we speak about Czech initiative, or even less. And it was the common support, not just from Czech Republic. They were taking those shells from elsewhere, including India, by the way. Pakistan and India, they both supported Ukraine in some way. India secretly supported Pakistan openly. They sent some of the equipment. But the idea, those autocracies, they united more. We see how they united more, and they have those dictatorship regimes, and they do not hesitate to waste the lives of their citizens, for nothing. And that's the big threat for us, actually, because we value human lives more, Western societies. And, for European countries, it's a big problem to send even peacekeeping forces to Ukraine. That's the initiative of the countries of France, United Kingdom. Some of the countries like Poland and Germany, they say, no, we'll never send our troops to Ukraine, even for training. We're too afraid to escalate. We're too afraid of Russia. But, and it's a problem. It's a big problem that West is still, I see it sleeping, guys. And the more even with those kind of the meetings with Zelensky and their plan to show to the Trump that Putin is not willing to ceasefire, those plans are just temporary solution, or basically it's not the solution, I would say. And Trump, well, it's the other story. I think he will, after all, be pushing for the Russian side. That's my expectation. I'm not very positive about the United States president that you currently have, guys, in the United States, because he has the circle of people who has tremendous influence, who have tremendous influence on him, including Witkov, maybe even Elon Musk, and even his son, Trump Jr. They all pro-Russian. If you check out their posts, those are crazy. They all hate Ukrainian president as well. Yeah, you may have different attitude towards Zelensky, but he's representing the country, and he was elected back then by majority of Ukrainians, 73%, and you cannot conduct elections now in Ukraine. I was for elections before, like the last year, but now I understand that elections definitely might harm Ukraine. They might create division, national division of society. Every candidate will just post total bullshit about the other candidate, about Zelensky also, and that is not good stuff now. So it's better to consolidate the society, and yeah, Ukraine still needs reforms, political reforms, military reforms, mobilization. It's a big problem. It's not going well. I would say even the forced mobilization is the complete nonsense, and you cannot send people by force on front lines because they will not conduct orders properly. Something should be done in a different way. It should have been done, long time ago. But yeah, we have our issues as well. I will check out your comment later on. Thank you so much for your generosity, for your support. From what I see, yeah, United States really support Ukraine compared to the other countries, but still it's not enough, like not even close to enough. Remember how military support was just cancelled by the part of the Congress, by Speaker of Congress, and it was also Donald Trump back then. He wasn't the president, but he was canceling Ukrainian support. And the story which appeared recently about, I said it in my today's video already, about Pete Hegseth, who took solo decision to cancel the military support for Ukraine. It is crazy. So Trump it was not his intention to cancel it. It was Pete, part of Trump's team, and later on, Donald had to came out with some of the way outs how to restore the military support. Well, hopefully, he will understand that Putin is not willing to talk, because now everything points out towards Putin, that he's the guy to blame. With yesterday's ultimatum for Putin, it is understandable. I think even for Donald, I think it should be understandable. Whether he will support Ukraine more, I just hope, but I'm not sure. I think that finally, I'm not very optimistic, so I think that he will not support Ukraine more. For today, guys, just check out the update of the military. Russia takes the ground, unfortunately. Not too much, but it takes, and they try to take initiative in many of the points. And they send new reinforcements. They take the advantage of the warm weather, of the leaves on the trees. They try to hide their forces in the tree lines, and it's difficult. Really, for Ukraine, it's difficult. And Russia has the plans for this spring and summer campaign. That's why Putin will never agree on ceasefire. They say it openly already that at first there should be negotiations and then ceasefire. But even Trump said that there should be first ceasefire and then negotiations. But Putin, they just want, they again say that they will negotiate with Ukraine directly on terms of the previous Istanbul agreements. So they want to restart from the point they finish. And their demands were demilitarization of Ukraine, denazification of Ukraine. And now they put in the constitution 5 oblasts of Russia. That's crazy. So this war will continue, guys, 100%. That's all I wanted to say, guys, for the last week. Like, there is no detailed recap. I will come out about it in my next video. I just want to focus on your comments. I'm gonna switch the chat just in front of me and read out your comments. What you say? First of all, super chat, guys. Sorry. How to check out the super chat? I'm gonna just scroll up. Okay. Ryan, thank you again. Joseph, thank you again. Jim, does Ukraine target Putin? No. You see why. There were foreign leaders, and Trump would accuse Ukraine for escalating. That's it. Why has there not been a brigade dedicated to building nets for logistic roads? It seems like they're being built too late. How can Ukraine solve this? Nick, it's the technical question. I'm not sure how it could be solved. Building nets. You mean those protection nets? No, Ukraine has those, but you cannot build them very close to the front lines because you need to spend the time in the environment which is under the drone, which is under the surveillance of the drones and under the potential strike. So you cannot work very close to the front lines. And the Russians too, yeah. Further away you can do it. Ukraine builds those nets and as well. I saw it on the videos. Arvid, thank you so much. What do you think about the peace negotiations without a stop of the fire? It's the bullshit. I've told you First, stop fighting, then negotiate. Tomek, thank you again. Kah, the United States has 6,000 Abrams tanks and 10,000 Bradley fighting vehicles. 10,000 Bradleys, it's crazy. We sent to Ukraine 30 Abrams tanks and 200 Bradleys to fight a country size of Russia. It's disgrace. I am ashamed to be American. No, still America supports Ukraine a lot compared to other countries. It has more military capabilities, but we would like to see more of the support. Especially then Zelensky say that, okay, give us Patriots not for free, but we're gonna purchase them. Just we need to protect our civilian infrastructure. We need it, and Trump refuses. That's craziest for me. Yeah, you have what you have. You have kind of strange president now. And before president like Joe Biden, well, I would say that judging on the current one, we were lucky that there was Joe Biden by the time of the start of the war, because, you never know. Maybe they would say, okay, the other president would say, will not escalate, but at least then they saw that Ukraine is fighting. They decided to support. Now, it's the big question. Count, thank you so much for support. And Night Fart, nice nickname. Russian propaganda so effective in infiltrating outside Russia, even pre-2014. Why isn't that being done effectively to destabilize Russia from within? Russia has lots of them, not just propaganda. They have their agents of influence, especially if we speak about Germany, Russia sold lots of the stuff, natural gas and oil to European Union countries. Germany was feeding Russia with billions of euros. That's how Russia built their budget, mostly, yeah? And still, they continue to receive some of the funds from the European countries, and they have their own agents, like the previous Chancellor Merkel. Chancellor Merkel was building quite good relations with Russia, and before her there was Schroeder, I guess, his surname. Yeah, he is the guy who is after he resigned being a counselor, he went to work in Gazprom. So. That's crazy. So actually this Western society, Europe also, they built Putin. They gave him money. They didn't punish him for what he did in Georgia, in Chechnya, in Ukraine back in 2014. So Putin understood that he is willing that he can go out with it. And still some of the European leaders, they go to Moscow to celebrate this crazy parade and so on. Yeah, I have nothing against the victory in the Second World War, and as they say, Great Patriotic War. But Putin turned this celebration into complete theater of Russian propaganda. So that's why I don't like the celebration in Russia. For us, it's the day of sorrow, It's the victory day. There was the victory against Nazi Germany, but what that war brought to the war is just crazy. Kenneth, thank you so much. Greetings to Denmark, I guess. Thanks for coffee. Dark, thank you so much. I wish we knew that Zelensky said to Trump in the Vatican, because Trump did total 360. 360, it's like you're coming to the same, 180. 360, you're coming to the same spot, but it doesn't matter. Hopefully this is a good change that Trump will stay on our side. Yeah, I just hope. I do not... Oh, we reached the goal. Thank you so much, guys. I just hope, guys, that we're gonna drink juice. Okay, I have I put juices, but I have vitamin water. Thank you, guys. You're awesome. I forgot to say cheers. And guys, thank you so much for your awesome support elsewhere. on YouTube with your likes, with subscriptions, with everything. So a special thanks to those guys who support me here financially. Thank you. I just hope that Trump will be pro-Ukrainian, but the probability for it is very low. I sort of understand support for Putin from not Western countries. What I really struggle with is Western leaders and ordinary people support. Also for me, like, now we see the support of Putin just from Hungary, Slovakia. I'm kind of scared about Romania, because all of those countries, they are bordering Ukraine, and Romania has the possibility to go under Russian influence, because there is the potential president, for now he is the candidate who won the first round of elections. That guy is crazy. Even worse than Fico, I guess. Love it and thank you. I think you should talk about China and his unemployment program because tariffs. Because of tariffs and employment. China sells its goods elsewhere. Like Europe is buying China goods. All the Asian countries are buying China goods. China will be okay, even under tariffs. The problem goes for USA, because everything will be more expensive. As for me, yes, China will, like, how much they sell to United States. I think 30% of their market is USA, maybe less. Hungary is the craziest. Yeah, there were tons of beef is now going on between Hungary and Ukraine with all of those espionage scandals. Your views on India, Pakistan? I said I want to stay neutral with that. Luckily, it seems like at least there is the partial ceasefire. Hopefully it will continue. Yeah, Robert Fico is shocking for me as well. He is so happy with Serbian president there. Well, Serbia is not a part of the European Union, but I understand that majority of people, they don't like their government in Serbia, and they want to join European Union actually because of the benefits it provides. Vucic, I hope he will resign. Xi Jinping only after the Russian gas. Not only. I mean, they're dictators in China, and the Russian regime is also dictatorship one. They want to get, and they get, cheap resources from Russia, but also important thing is ideology. For China to stand in front of democracies, and they will support Russia in this case because it's their partner in this crazy dictatorship stuff. Do you think that Germany will now finally provide the towers to Ukraine? Well, Merz told about it. He even promised. I hope they will do it very fast. Ronald, thank you so much. If you stroke Trump's ego, you can pretty much get what you want, but as soon as you make him mad, he can become your worst enemy. If Putin keeps making Trump mocking, maybe Zelensky will get everything he wants. It's hard. Donald Trump's personality, for one thing, it's kind of plain and understandable. On the other hand, if Donald Trump himself doesn't like personality, for example, if he doesn't like Zelensky, it is now understandable that he doesn't like him. No matter what you do, if you are Zelensky, Trump would never agree with your ideas. But if Trump likes personalities, like, for example, Putin, he likes him. He told about it himself. It means that no matter what Putin does, Donald Trump would be very loyal, let's say. That's what we see, unfortunately. Still, that is what we see. We don't see so far any signs of how America pushes Russia more. No new sanctions, nothing. Like, no increasement of the military support. Some of the packages are out there, but we're speaking about selling the equipment. Greetings from Finland. Greetings to Finland. Jeep man. By the way, I remember, guys, I spoke about one girl from Finland who served in the Finnish army, and she went to Ukraine. She's now trained for the drones operator in the Ukrainian army. She volunteered, and she started a YouTube channel, and I told about it on my channel because I really like her content, her generosity, how she provides the information about, her views are very close to mine, actually. But she deleted all of her videos, or she made those private. That's crazy. And I understand, like, she wrote me the reason. I cannot tell it here. The reason is interesting. And yeah, I cannot tell because it's the private conversation, but she did it herself. It wasn't the YouTube, because I got some of the questions like, why she deleted the videos? And yeah. She deleted it herself. It wasn't YouTube. We have super chat. Russell, thank you so much. I love your work, Denys. Thanks for the Ukraine updates. Thank you, Russell, for your generosity and your support. Sam, greetings to United States of America. Thank you, Denys. Wish you the best. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. I hope you're doing great there. OnlyFans. Yeah, OnlyFans is interesting. Thoughts on Russian operation in Sumy? So far, they cannot send like the huge amount of the forces, even though they have those. Ukraine, with the side offensive, it keeps the Russian army spread in the Kursk region, partially in Belgorod. That was the main idea of Ukraine. We'll see. For now, we have the information, like I just received it, that Ukraine sent the infantry towards Totkina, Kursk region, just infantry with no vehicles. I hope just for evacuation. Ukraine has those. And Ukraine intensifies counterattacks to deflect the attention or deflect the forces of the Russian army from Sumy Oblast. Yeah. Also, Russia uses North Koreans. It's been confirmed by Putin, by the way. Then it's gotta get to the gym. Yeah, but now it's closed already. Yeah, I'm fat as fuck. I hate people blaming Zelensky because of him war started. Yeah, I also don't understand why Zelensky is to blame for the start of the war. Why do those people hate Zelensky? He's the president who is defending his people, his country. It's hard to see that. Yeah, the only thing I blame Zelensky for, just a little, maybe not a little, is that he wasn't really prepared for this full-scale war. He thought that Putin would not attack, for example, Kiev, Oblast, Sumy, and also Crimea, from Crimea, the southern part of Ukraine. So there was no proper defense organized. Denys, were you in Japan? Yeah, sometimes. China is in the land of facades. Anyone watch Time Azov Battalion? That's your troops self-proclaiming white nationalism. Maybe at the beginning there were some of the, football fans and those nationalists before supremacists. You may find it in every private army, even if you check Russian battalions like Rusich, they have total Nazism, but now Azov battalion is different. Also, if you check out Black Waters, and you'll also find some of the Nazis there. Yeah, there are some dark people going to the army sometimes. Oops, my stream crashed, it says. How did it crash? Well, Oh, now we have it. Now we have it. Hope it was okay. Like Azov, it accumulated at the beginning in 2014. There were lots of the football fans from Dynamo Kiev, from Metallist, and yeah, the part of those ultras there were really, like, you understand who they were. But now it's not the core of the Azov regiment any longer. I think they even changed emblem, emblem. Macron has turned 180 from sitting down and appeasing Putin to now him and Zelensky hugging him like a brother. I believe that this is a relationship 100%. Yeah, Nick, there were some of the memes posted how Zelensky and Macron were hugging and kissing, and Yelena Zelensky, first lady, was jealous about it. Denys, why India support Russia? They want to make business as usual. They're buying some of the Russian equipment, resources, selling them some of the equipment, but they also sold some of the artillery shells to Ukraine. So they just look for gold. Eric, thank you. Hi Denys, I hope Ukraine gets ceasefire. I hope to, because for Ukraine ceasefire is really important. But Putin doesn't want it to happen. India is making money from buying cheap Russian oil. Yeah, as well as China. It's true that the Ukraine troops have crossed the Dnieper River? What? No. Before there was the operation in Crimea. A terrible one. At first it was looking like a good operation, and I was even saying, hooray, we crossed the Dnieper River. I mean, Ukraine. But later on, it became understandable it was a big disaster. Luckily, a commander who was responsible for that, and not only that, he was dismissed. I know what you meant regarding football fans. There are lots of them in mainland UK. Yeah, it's all started, from this. I crossed some of the lines with football fans. I don't like them, honestly, with those ultras. Then I was also the teenage. Then I was in university, in primary school, I may call it. So I was also in this movement, not the football fan, but I listened to heavy metal. I was wearing those kind of the leather jackets. I was riding my Dnipro motorcycle, so I was the part of this community of metal fans. And yeah, those hooligans, sometimes even with skinheads, they went to metal concerts and they they beaten us, my friends as well, and there were some fights with them, with skinheads and with ultras. Yeah, they somehow didn't like. I also had hair like this long, and yeah, probably they didn't like how we look, and yeah, it was some sort of the fight with them. But at the same time, I knew some of the people from their community, because after all, you cross, even though you fight, but you basically gather in similar places, or sometimes even the same places. Denys, you know how bad your government talks about Ukraine? Our government talks about Ukraine. I don't know. What's your government? There are lots of the people who tell bad about Ukraine, but who cares? Like, it's bad in general, but what can we do? I didn't like then you mentioned about Zimbabwe. Yeah, I apologized in the same video. I said I didn't want to, like, it's an example, and I think Zimbabwe is in a pro-Russian camp. Pardon if I'm not right. How's your pilot career going? Are you still flying? No. Gliders, yeah, I plan to fly. The problem is with my weight. I gained lots of the weight with my job, which is basically sitting job, and I cannot control myself. I try to lose it. And I cannot fly glider. I'm overweight a little. For the engineer plane, yeah, for the small ones. Is Hungary going to invade Ukraine? I don't think so. Keto. Well, maybe keto. Oh, why did the KGB agent smile during his job interview? Because he already knew all questions. Is blockade of Russian ports a possibility? Yeah, why not? Do you think that Russia will escalate hitting some of the infrastructure of the NATO countries in case, for example, Baltic ports, Baltic Sea blockade total? I don't think they will target some of the NATO countries with military at this stage. What microphone model you got now? It's a Leut Austrian-made LCT. Leut LCT. And some of the numbers. It's good. And I'll use it in my studio. If I go somewhere, I use the other microphone. Also, nice to meet you in the chat. How you doing? So much energy goes dealing with the effects of propaganda, weak international support, antagonistic momentum, Hungary, Slovakia, MAGA, Romania, AfD, Zelensky with Poroshenko, etc. Yeah. As I say to you, there are lots of the agents of influence of Russia, especially in Europe, especially in the United States as well. The world is not that solid any longer, if we speak about politicians. But still we have like at least solidarity from France for now, from Germany, from United Kingdom. Greeting, Eric, thank you so much. One human race, Denys, and no place in this world for your racist? I try to remember the time then I said something racist. Mr. Kerplant, thank you so much for membership gifts. Once Ukraine is fully trained on all F-16s, then Russian defenses could collapse, but they need electronic warfare aircraft. Like, F-16 will not change the outcome. It's just one more tool. The combination of those will do some good for Ukraine. Oh, fuck. We're gonna block some of the users. You guys need to get some A-10 Warthogs. Yeah, nice airplane. I think that Ukraine could use them. If they use Sukhoi 25, why not to replace or to add A-10s? Like, you should have... Some say you should have air superiority, but Ukraine, like, it uses Sukhoi 25, so I don't see, like, a huge difference. That attack airplane, this attack airplane, so... What they do, they just basically drop the bombs and fly away. French bombs, usually. Harm. ISM missile bombs, guided bombs. France, by the way, wants to produce many of those, many more, to send to Ukraine. France really has its own independent policy. I like it. Do you know that song, Denys? No. I don't know that song. Trump's support to get daily briefing for intelligence. Only been to 12. Oh, I see. YouTube is pretty selective about what things they allow. Yeah, that's why I use different language like kaboom, unalived, zeroed, cancelled sometimes. Because they monitor everything. Like the subtitles you might check out on my videos, they're automatically generated by YouTube. So after my words go, after a short time, YouTube generates those subtitles. Very precisely, by the way. Yeah, but A10 is slower than Sukhoi 25. It only goes... Yeah, it's slower. I agree. It's maybe the only big disadvantage it has over Sukhoi 25. I'm gonna delete some of the stupid. A-10 is not proper airplane for Ukraine at the moment. Yeah, maybe you're right. I'm not like military strategy expert of military aviation, so maybe you know more. Good to see you streaming. Yeah, good to see you too. Our Indian government talks bad about Ukraine. We're really ashamed. Oh, I see. I didn't know that India talks bad about Ukraine. Claire, nice to meet you. Greetings to UK. Good to see you. Should get grip and hello from Sweden. Yeah, of course. It's a good airplane. What Ukraine can do with Antonov 1-4? Canada confiscate it? Eric, they may put that airplane into Antonov Airlines, that's it. And obviously repaint it. And update, upgrade. Do some proper maintenance. Ukrainian aircraft are now flying in Leipzig, I guess, the main base for Antonov. Do you hate your enemy? It clouds your judgment. It's normal to hate your enemy, especially if your enemy is barbarian like Russian one. Do you hate Russians? No. Like, if I would hate Russians, I would be a Nazi. I hate Russian military that bombs Ukraine, civilian infrastructure, that goes to Ukraine with weapons. I hate those. But Russians as a nation, no. By the way, Russians are not the nation. They're the group of people of nations. because Russians, they call Russians not just those white Russians who look like us, Ukrainians, I mean, but also Burats, Tatars, Chechens, they're all Russians for Russia because they're Russian citizens. In the Russian and Ukrainian, we have different words for that. So we have Ruski, which is national Russian, who live usually near Moscow, St. Petersburg, European part of Russia. So Ruski, Russian, it's like Rus. And Россиянин, Россияnin. This means Russian by passport. Ethnicity, yeah, ethnicity. So how can I hate people just for their ethnicity? I would be a Nazi in this case. So no. I don't hate Russians. But those who go to Ukraine, for example, I hate Russian military pilots who bomb Ukraine because, yeah. But Russian opposition, why not? And I think that there will be some interesting stuff happening in Russia after the war in Ukraine. I keep Ukraine on the minds, but friends, because you. Thank you, Superfish Fish Fry. That's a nice nickname. Have you seen a Russian that jumped off bridge? No. Thoughts on biolabs? No proofs of biolabs were presented in Ukraine. Also, Danny, do you stream gaming still, and would you team up with other gamers maybe? I don't know. I want to stream, yeah, but not today. I have so many ideas, so many. I don't know how to implement those in real life. Please, at the end of your videos, no pause between great and time. Have a great time. Denys, my late father had a late... What? Do you hope that Russia will get Balkanized just like Yugoslavia? Yeah, I hope. The best idea, even for Russia, is Russian reorganization into many of the countries. That's what I think, and that is what will happen. I'm sure about it. I'd choose Russian women over Ukrainian women. Okay, it's your taste, your choice. I do not aim for a specific nationality if we speak about, or race even, if we speak about relationship. Slav Ukrainian, it's very hard for Russian to heal Ukrainians' broken heart after the war is permanently ceasefire. The relations between the countries will never be the same. For centuries, I guess. Am I the only one that see Russians and Ukrainians more similar than different? Depends on what Russians you speak. If we speak about Ruski, so ethnicity of those Russians who are similar to Ukraine, definitely there are some similarities. After all, we live all together in the Russian Empire, in Soviet Union, so we have the rich common history. But during that history, there were hard times for Ukrainians, which were organized by Tsar regime, by Soviet regime. So the history wasn't that great, I would say, living together. And now Ukraine is independent, and Russia doesn't want Ukraine to be independent, as you say. They do not realize that we are the other country. That's the big problem. So we would like actually to live normal life with Russians as neighbors, but as you see, with Russians it's impossible to achieve. With the regime of Russia, it's better to say, they currently have. Greetings from Finland. You're doing great. Thank you. Greetings to Finland. Is Slovakia president controlled? Slovakia president is controlled but prime minister probably also controlled by Putin. Denys has the best attitude about this war. I don't know. I just have like common sense, some of the logic. That's it. Denys, will you tweet more or whatever equivalent of Blue Sky? Yeah. I need to tweet more. For now, I use basically Telegram, but I need to tweet more on Blue Sky. I hope I'll do it. I don't have the team, I work alone. Do you see Ukraine joining NATO in our lifetime? In our lifetime, yeah. Greetings to Canada too. Hi from Phoenix. Greetings to Phoenix. My husband and I are going back to Ukraine for volunteering in the war effort in July. Oh, guys, take care. I hope, hope you will be okay. Because I don't see like intensity of the strikes even in Kiev. It drops now. I didn't see it. Thank you, Betsy, for joining the live stream. They still have family in Crimea. And do you know active resistance on occupation? No. Like, I want you to realize that because of Russian propaganda, because of the local differences, people in Crimea, they did support that stuff of joining Russia back in 2014. But now time changed and everything is different. There were numerous of Russians who went to Crimea. How you say, ethnicity changed. And there are lots of the Ukrainians who left Crimea, also those who supported Ukraine. I can tell if my relatives are there. I cannot tell. And yeah, we'll see. Local fake news. What are you speaking about? How come no one speaks about the Mariupol Theater massacre? Yeah, you see, Russia did so many massacres and it was already a long time ago. People tend to forget about what was happening even in Sumy after the recent strike of Russia. Trump said it was a mistake and everyone forgot about it, It's the human nature. We tend to forget stuff. And, people are kind of like leaders of the countries were coming to 9th May parade to Moscow to meet and greet this bastard, Putin. That's crazy. How do you rate the support from Poland overall? Overall, it's great. There are some marginals who are crazy, who are blocking the border, but in general, we have a very great relations with Poland, with Polish people, and especially speaking about the military support from the very beginning, Poland supplied actually the most of the tanks to Ukraine, modernized T-72 tanks. So yeah, Poland is great. There are also I have friends elsewhere, also in Poland, Ukrainians. Yeah, there's some strange attitude sometimes towards Ukrainians. We also have long common history with Poland. Sometimes it wasn't that great, but overall, I think we should forget about that stuff and move on. Poland is the country, I would say, of the single nation. If you speak Polish with some accent, you may have strange looks sometimes from some strange people. It is changing. I mean, people are more or less cosmopolitan, they become more open, but there's some of the people who just, love themselves because they're born or because they're nationals of particular country. That's it. They're proud of that with everything. For me, am I proud that I'm Ukrainian? No. For me, Ukraine and any other country is basically the same. Ukraine, yeah, I like Ukraine. It's a wonderful country, but I do not say that Ukraine is better than Poland, for example, or Ukraine is better than some other country. Maybe, if we speak about democracy, if we speak about human rights, Ukraine is better than Russia. But I do not treat myself that I'm super pooper than I'm Ukrainian. No. It's it's your luck to born or not born in particular country. I'm okay being Ukrainian. It's okay. Did Tucker Carlson visit Putin for his clown show parade? I think no. There was Steven Seagal. I shared the photo on my Telegram channel. That's crazy. Do you have plans for the future, Denys? No, I don't. I live in today's day. No plans at all. Well, my plans are connected with the war. I hope finally it will be over. Welcome to the Netherlands. Yeah, hopefully to go there, maybe. Maybe this summer, who knows. Denys, uploading so frequently must be exhausting. Do you take time for yourself? Yeah, I take time for myself. Actually, the content I provide is not that superb. I think that I actually have not such a great content, and I'm still surprised that I have so many views compared to the quality that I provide. Let's talk about Steven Seagal. How are his life choices doing now? I think that he loves Russia still. I know Gérard Depardieu, the French actor, he sold his the flat that he was presented with in Grozny, Chechnya, and he says that he's not happy about Russia any longer. That's what I heard. Could be not truth. Russell, thank you so much again for today's support. How long did it take to learn to fly, Denys? For me, it took 5 years to get a commercial pilot license, but it's the Ukrainian reality. In general, you can obtain the commercial license in roughly 3 years, that fast. But for Ukraine, you need to have at least bachelor's degree. I have my master's degree in aviation and engineering, which included the theoretical part for pilot skills. And the first license I got, then I was... How old I was? 19 years old. And the commercial pilot license, then I was 22? Yeah, 22. Or 21. 21, I guess. Ildar, thank you for Idar. Sorry, thank you for joining the membership. So yeah, I studied in Kropivnitsky Flight Academy and in Kiev as well. So in Kiev Aviation University, my flight academy was bombed by Russians. My first air club, I was flying the gliders. It was bombed by Russians. My airport where I was flying small airplanes, it was bombed. Nalivaykovka, it was bombed by Russians. What else? Zaporizhia, the airport where I did my base training, it was bombed by Russians. What wasn't bombed still, it's okay, it's Borispol Airport, the main home base for the airline I used to work in, Ukraine International Airport. You ever fly to Ireland? I've flown to Dublin once. It was a charter flight. How old were you then you obtained medical marijuana license? I remember 3 years ago asking you to visit the United States. Now I say don't. I see. Yeah, I see. Yeah. It's complicated now with immigration law and everything. Immigration outlaw you have. No. It's better not to, not to put tattoo on your body because they will say you are MS-13 member or something. Last night, Indian government said if it's necessary, they will support Russia by any means. Are they? Did they say that? I need to check. Sorry. It's not safe for anyone in USA. Yeah, I mean, it's temporary. Like, we're gonna wait for 3 years and 9 months. Darren, thank you. To think what the technologies will be used in battlefields. Drones are changing everything. And it's very strange that, for example, NATO countries, they're not developing drone technologies that vast and that fast compared to Ukraine and Russia. Also, Dennis, why you don't talk about genocide in Gaza? Just want to know your view about the situation, especially almost. I think I talked about it. Then we spoke about Palestine, Hamas, and Israel. Yeah, I think that the response action of Israel on civilian infrastructure is not that effective, and it's basically, they do like what Russia does in Ukraine, bombing civilian infrastructure. I don't support that. This is the worst case, like, then some military used against civilians. But I'm not Hamas supporter at all. I think that Hamas should be gone. Like, completely gone. Every one of them. Israel is like spam the F-35s or Merkavas. Yeah. You know about the mini drones fly in swarms? Can we use them? They haven't been used in war from what I saw. Just occasional FPV drones and surveillance drones separately. But FPV drones, they could be used in combination. Well, I will explain you. So the drone, the plan for Ukraine is to establish by the end of this year a complete drone superiority tactics. It means that you have different types of the FPV drones, you have different types of the surveillance drones, and you have middle range drones. For example, like Russia has Landsats. Ukraine has different types of those, which can fly for 50 kilometers of the range. And for every range, you have specific FPV, specific drone to operate. And Ukraine wants to reach this drone superiority elsewhere on all of the lengths on the front lines. And for that, Ukraine needs 2 million more drones. The plan to end it and to introduce that this year, and there should be like at least 3 of the main command centers, from what I understood, which will coordinate the entire job of this defense. Those are the plans. Partially, it has been introduced in some of the specific points of the front lines, but the plan is huge. Will Ukraine reach it? We'll see. What do you think about mineral deal between Ukraine and USA? From what I read, it is good for Ukraine. And one more thing, I already told it in my video, one of the videos. What is underground belongs to Ukrainian people, so no deal is valid, according to Ukrainian constitution. And anytime any Ukrainian president, any Ukrainian government may go to the constitutional court, and court will say, no, this deal is not valid. As simple as that. So it doesn't matter that there is no end date for negotiation. If something goes wrong, Zelensky will go to the court, and court will say Zelensky is wrong, he shouldn't have signed the deal, and it's not valid. That's, by the way, what Ukraine did under the pressure, actually, from the United States about the Motor Siege company, which partially was sold to China. There was a big scandal that China was rejected, actually, the deal. It happened before the full-scale war, and China really wanted to have the access to technologies of how to produce kind of the good engines, reliable engines, because still it's the main issue for China, because they may produce airplanes, but the engines they purchase from Pratt & Whitney, and they cannot produce good quality engines themselves, like reliable, really, that will fly for thousands of hours without heavy maintenance. Ukraine has that technology, and China, that's why, tried to buy the technology, including the part of the Motor Siege. But United States insisted, I think it was Poroshenko, the president by the time, insisted on Poroshenko, and Poroshenko, he went to Constitutional Court, and Constitutional Court said, this deal is not valid because the facility Motor Siege is strategic one. It should be not the private one, but it should belong to the government, and all of the previous deals with China cancelled. That is what possible to achieve with mineral deal. So actually what was signed there is like Budapest Memorandum, but now for American side, let's say. So any moment, if Ukraine doesn't like it, that they can cancel exit. Denys, any chance Ukraine will get Merkavas? Israel is not that supportive for Ukraine, I would say so. Strange for me, but yeah, we have what we have. By the way, did you know that? Have you heard that Donald Trump wants to recognize Palestine as the country? Why so much spam? If you could interview anyone on this planet, who would it be and why? As a doctor, psychiatrist, that's how I feel reviewing American politics, and not only American. I would like to interview Donald Trump. It's gonna be funny. Like, it would be funny, I think. Donald Trump would be fine. Then I think Europe is getting smarter and how to deal with Trump. They know they're dealing with a weasel. Yeah. What do you think of Trump's latest post on Truth Social? I do not follow him on Truth Social. What I tell about his Truth Social posts is what I have from X, fucking name, Twitter and Telegram. But I do not follow him on Truth Social. I don't have account on Truth Social. Let's talk about the Donald, how now for a bit. Oh yeah, in every video I have to tell about him. You know, I spoke with Jake Bro during our last conversation. I took the interview, like podcast with him. And he told Denys, I want so much for the war in Ukraine to be over. I just want to tell about Donald Trump because he's producing tons of the news content. And I just want war to be finished in Ukraine. I say, yeah, for me, the same. Like, want war to be finished in Ukraine and speak about different stuff, including Trump as well, maybe. Yes, please briefly tell why you're not fighting, but instead you make videos many people don't understand. I think I've told about it on my channel all the time. I'm not a military guy. I've never been to the military, and I just left Ukraine. You may call me a coward, blah, 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 but I work in my own field. Informational war is also important. I think I can be way more useful with my channel. Especially now that I work with Ukrainian. How is the name of this? Official agency. Where is my freaking phone? Okay, nevertheless. I think it's on the chart here. The agency to dismiss disinformation or something like that. So yeah, I'm not officially employed there, but I work with them. It's official agency in Ukraine. So yeah. You may say that I work for Ukrainian government. Without salary though. What do you think on Donald Trump dresses as the Pope? It's cringe. That's total cringe. Like, he said that he didn't post that photo, but it was posted on his Truth Social and was reposted by the White House official page. Did you visit Russia before? Many times. I used to live in Russia for long 3 months. Yeah, I know many Russians. And it was in Siberia, was in Moscow. Many places. Great show tonight. It's the usual show. I just like to communicate with you, my friends. Probably next time I'll go straight to the comments and we're gonna discuss what is happening. Anyways, have you heard about Qatar gifting Boeing 747 to Trump to use as a new Air Force One? Nothing shady about that. Kind of interesting. I haven't heard about it. Maybe I need to search for some aviation news. What's your favorite food? Well, now I like different food. Mostly Ukrainian one, but also I like Thai food, tom yum soup. I don't know why, but I tried it and it's good. I like Japanese food, French food. French cuisine is fantastic. I think it's my favorite now, French cuisine. Not frogs, frogs I didn't eat, but they have some special, very tasty dishes. Do you still have Russian friends? No. No. Now I don't have Russian friends. because those those were basically pilots. Some of them were military, are maybe, I don't know their destiny, but yeah. My childhood friend is, just for you to understand, is the military pilot of Russian Air Force. He was flying Mi-8 helicopter, but I don't know if he's still alive. But he is my childhood friend. Was or is, I don't know. I cancelled all of the communication after Russia invaded Ukraine. Caleb, thank you so much for your support. Betsy, thank you. Careful with that French food. Will put weight on you fast. Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem. Will you visit Russia back if Putin regime falls? I think no, because we are the enemies with Russia. I am working to fight Russian disinformation, to spread Ukrainian, I wouldn't say propaganda, but pro-Ukrainian content. And I'm the enemy for those Russian military. And there are lots of the life losses in Russia, and they see us as their enemies, and will see even after Russian regime collapse. So yeah, actually it's not safe for me going there, because there will be relatives who lost their family members in this war, and they would like to seek for revenge in any sort of the case. Even outside Russia, for me, it's not really safe, but who cares, right? To Russia I will not go, even to Crimea, I guess. Ukraine needs to continue making their own military surplus factory. Yeah, but the problem that without the proper air defense, Russia may strike Ukrainian factories. Denys YouTuber or pilot, both. It's not worth going there anyways, to Russia. Well, actually, Russia itself, if we speak about nature, geography, it's a very beautiful country. Yeah, Russell, thank you so much for still watching those news. Could you tell us your place? No, I'm not a psycho. I'm not the enemy for me and for my family. Simon, I have been to Ukraine many of the times. Even during the war, I am praying for your country. Simon, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Ukraine will need to leave the Commonwealth of Independent States, Eurasian Union. Didn't get it. Good fishing and hunting in Russia. Yeah. I mean, this country is damn big. It's wild, it's big. You can go to the forest, it's open. It's not like privately owned in Siberia, just vast lands of everything. Yeah, Russia cuts its forest and sells to China. That's the other issue. Frank and Sam, yeah, those air defense systems are really great. They use, I guess, air-to-air missiles, but on platform of the vehicle, maneuverable vehicle, and rumors say that it's very successful. Denys, it's quiet now in Dagestan. For now, it's quiet. It seems like bots got the command to attack the chat. Oblivion, thank you. Hello from Sir de Sal Brigade, 2nd Foreign Legion. Oh, got me now. Hello. Hope you guys doing it more or less okay. The Sir Brigade operates near, I think near, okay, I will not say it. We haven't seen Kadyrov since a while. Yeah, the rumors say that he is damn sick and he asked Putin to relieve his duties as the president of Chechnya. Geroyam Slava. Cut me now, thank you. And, you know, Kadyrov started to speak like Soviet Brezhnev. He barely can talk normally. Even in Chechen, he blah, blah, blah. All the time, again and again, we heard that stuff. So he's really not okay. Is it severe? I don't know. Was Kadyrov allowed to resign? I don't know. Also, he's still in power in Chechnya. He was preparing his son, Adam Kadyrov, who is very young to be a leader. I think there should be some of the fight for power in Chechnya if Kadyrov resigns. Because Adam is very young. He is incompetent at all. Like his father is incompetent, but at least he has this, ego power. And Adam, he's like this fluffy, fatty boy with lots of the medals. It's just a joke. That's why maybe Kadyrov was seeking for an alternate airport for his family and his money. In our team, we have Azerbaijan, Turkish, and Georgian volunteers. Oh, interesting. That's great. That's great. Do you have so many? Kenneth, greetings to you, King. Very skilled on TikTok, yeah. I heard Tarzan was killed. This freaky dude from the Wagner. Yeah. Nickname Tarzan. I think he was zeroed like 2 weeks ago. I volunteered in Ukraine and have been watching this guy since the invasion. Great channel. Lance, thank you so much for your kind support. I hope you're safe. Zelensky is ready to meet Putin on May 15. Let me check. Just a moment. Zelensky mentioned that we are waiting tomorrow the complete ceasefire to present the necessary diplomacy ground. I will wait for Putin on Thursday in Turkey, Zelensky said. Huh. You were right. Trump said that Ukraine should agree on negotiations with Russia and Turkey, but Russia demands capitulation. Interesting. Okay, here we go. President Putin of Russia doesn't want to have a ceasefire agreement with Ukraine, but rather wants to meet on Thursday. That is what Trump says. In Turkey, to negotiate a possible end of the bloodbath. Ukraine should agree to this immediately. At least they will be able to determine whether or not this deal is possible. And if it is not, European leaders and the United States will know where everything stands and can proceed accordingly. Those words are wise, I would agree. I am starting to doubt that Ukraine will make a deal with Putin, who is too busy celebrating the victory of World War II. It's not the victory of World War II, Donald Trump. It's the victory of so-called patriotic war. World War II finished another date, which could not have been won, not even close, without the United States of America. Have the meeting now. Donald Trump is such an incompetent. So what's about this meeting that Putin wants to organize in Turkey? It's just, to continue the same bullshit. The negotiations for negotiations, like those negotiations could last for years, actually. Russia demands for Ukraine the capitulation. Again, they stated that they want to look for, Zakharova today stated, Peskov stated that they're looking for dismissing the original causes of the war. What's the original causes of the war? Ukrainian existence, NATO expansion, that's what they say. They're not speaking about ceasefire, but Zelensky, it seems like ми чекаємо післязавтра припинення вогню повне і тривале, щоб дати необхідну основу дипломатії, немає сенсу затягувати вбивства. І чекатимемо на Путіна в четвер в Туреччині особисто. Yeah, he said that I will wait for Putin on Thursday in Turkey. Like himself, he'll be waiting for Putin in Turkey. I hope that Russians will not look for excuses, not why they're not there. Andrei Sybiha, Ukrainian foreign minister, told, "This is what a true leader does. He does not hide behind anyone or anything. It's highly likely that Russian side processes even a silver or such courage." So Zelensky said that he'll be. Can Putin go to Turkey? Will he go to communicate with Zelensky? Interesting. Russia says that Russian proposals for Ukraine will not be those sugar as they were in 2022. So Russia will push even more. Interesting. Really interesting. Should I film one more video? I think tomorrow. That's the breaking news, however. Well, before, like, Zelensky signed even some of the order, decay, for him, or not, for canceling any sort of the negotiations with Putin personally. But later on, he said that he himself can talk. This is the rising the stakes from Ukraine. And playing actually this Trump's game. Yeah, everything of that is, unfortunately, guys, it will not bring peace in Ukraine or ceasefire, simply because Russia doesn't want ceasefire. What Zelensky does, he wants to show Donald Trump that you want agreements with Russia? We do. You want like 30 days ceasefire? Ukraine agrees on that. You call for Ukraine to agree with meeting with Russians in Turkey? Okay. He posts, I'm gonna meet with Putin. You want Ukraine to agree? We agree on everything. Trump still doesn't understand that Putin is not interested to finish this war. So simply there will be no ceasefire, unfortunately. Just those fake ones which Russia implemented recently. That's it. Maybe there is just a small percent for some. I don't believe in ceasefire, guys. I don't believe in it. What do you think? Trump insisted that Zelensky agree to both negotiations and ceasefire, but Putin only required to talk. Yeah, for Putin, it's important, from what I understood, for Putin to negotiate with the United States of America, to continue the talks. He's quite okay with it, warming relations between two of the countries, because he wants to use Donald Trump as his personal weaponry against Ukraine, against the freedom world. That's why he also prizes Donald Trump in his rhetorics. Even yesterday he said that Donald Trump, he's a nice guy. He wants Donald Trump just to follow Russian ideas and to cancel the support of Ukraine. That's what Russian goal really is. And the Russians only may achieve it by communicating with Donald Trump. That's why then Donald Trump told that we're going to, abandon those two sides. Russia is not interested in that either. They want talks for talks and for Donald Trump to cancel the military support. That's what Putin wants to achieve. So do you think that Trump will go himself personally to meet with Zelensky in Turkey? Oh, we want a ceasefire. Who wants the ceasefire? Yeah, I really want the ceasefire. Everyone wants, like all of the Ukrainians. Russia will be exposed, yeah. If they wouldn't go there, if Putin wouldn't go to Turkey, like, if Zelensky will be there alone, that is would be the shame for Putin, actually. No, he can go to Turkey. Who will arrest Putin? Come on. Denys, was the Kazakhstan president on the Red Square? I didn't check. Катминал, героям слава. I imagine Zelensky waiting and chilling there in the restaurant eating nice kebab. Yeah, Turkish food is also nice. Let's check out Russian Z channels. How to translate it? I think I'll translate it via chat. And it will take some time. If Putin misses out for health reasons, everyone will pray that it's not serious. The cornerstone of... Okay, this is what Russian channel says. Z channels. The cornerstone of the entire situation surrounding possible negotiations is the demand for a preliminary 30-day ceasefire. Why are Ukraine and the European Union allies so insisted on this condition? If negotiations take place during active hostiles, Russia will maintain its pressure on the front lines, thus retaining the advantage on initiative during the talks. Well, kind of logical. Ukraine has already experienced negotiations with a gun to its head during the signing the Minsk II and the discussion in Istanbul, and it does not want to repeat that experience. A smart Z channel, I would say. However, if the fighting is stopped and the front lines are frozen for extended period, this would allow Ukraine to withstand Russian military pressure even before any negotiations begin, stabilize the frontline situation, and prepare for a possible escalation, effectively depriving Russia of all of its leverage. That is precisely why this proposal does not suit Russia. Haha. So Russia doesn't want peace. I mean, ceasefire. It essentially means relinquishing. Relinquishing. I don't know what this word means. The initiative, given the initiative, probably. Moreover, in 30 days, the front could stabilize to such an extent that Ukraine might no longer see any need for negotiations at all. Talks are only needed now while the situation is pressing, but once the pressure subsides and there is the chance for repel attack by military force, diplomacy will be flushed down to the toilet again, just like it was in Istanbul. As long as this key contradiction remains unresolved, the likelihood of the productive diplomatic meeting between two of the countries approaches zero. Fuck, I agree with that statement. Yeah, they really, Russia wants to keep the pressure attacking Ukraine. They still have advantage in military power. Ukraine wants the ceasefire because, that is how Ukraine may eliminate that leverage. Kind of logical one. Putin has USSR dreams. Yeah, 100%. We just need to get Trump the correct information about Ukraine, and he doesn't care. He wants, forget about Ukraine as he doesn't interested in how this war could be over. He just wants it to be over. If Putin occupies Ukraine, Trump will be absolutely fine with that. Greetings to Venezuela. Rafael, thank you for support. My former Soviet state was Turkmen SSR. Oh, that's the close country now. Not as close as North Korea, but very similar. Greetings to Puerto Rico. Yeah, those are the breaking news. Maybe I should come out with a video about this stuff. But really, I don't think that it will bring something, even ceasefire. Yeah, those are interesting. Yeah, it's a good move from Zelensky. Really good move, political move. Some say he's clown, comedian, but he takes initiative all the time. That's what we see. It's nice, strong. Drink plenty of water. Thank you, Claire. Big hug for me too. Will Ukraine continue to hit Moscow region? I don't think so. It will concentrate on... I think the Moscow was the aim just before parade to cause some of the disruption. Maybe... But leaders, after all, they decided to come to Moscow, despite this threat. Ukraine leadership needs to be careful traveling to Turkey. Why? Turkey is okay. And after all, it's the NATO country. Isn't it funny that people blame Russians for choosing Putin? Come on. If Putin offers Zelensky, no. They will not eat. Putin will not go to Turkey. I'm almost sure about it. Very smart. Zelensky is always one step. Yeah, he agreed on that. So by agreeing on this meeting, he agreed with Donald Trump's actually proposal that Ukraine should agree. So Zelensky agreed. I'm gonna go there myself. Gonna visit Moscow. Oh, sorry, Ankara, or where they're gonna meet in Istanbul, maybe. And I'll be waiting for Putin. Bunker, Grandpa, where are you? Come here, I am waiting for you. So it's really, really something interesting. Have something to talk about tomorrow. I think I'm not gonna come out with a video now because those news have just appeared. And, we need to wait for reaction also from the Russian side. What they will say, will they flush themselves with their Turkish initiative from now on? But all of that, it doesn't make any sense. It only makes sense for Ukrainian military support from Donald Trump's team. That's it. Now the fight is ongoing. Not for the ceasefire, not for peace deal. Those are just talks. The idea for Ukraine is to show Donald Trump that it's Putin to blame for. It's really like it is. Like Putin is to blame for continuation of this war. That's it. Ukraine is ready for everything. But Putin not. No ceasefire, no deal. Putin is playing his endless game. Yeah, 100%. Guy Arthur, you're right. Then you think Putin will fall down from some window. No one knows. It might happen tomorrow or in 10 years. Those kind of the regimes, dictator regimes, they're very unpredictable and unstable. But usually dictators they finish not good. No matter how much Zelensky agrees to what Trump wants, it will never be enough. Trump will just ask for more. Could be. But there is also the limit, I guess. Because after all, it is already, it's too much. Everyone understands it's too much. Everyone sees that Ukraine agrees on everything and it's Putin to blame. So, judging on this public appearance of Donald Trump, if he continued to push Ukraine in this state, he would look like, I don't know, like a clown, or it's his usual position. Alright guys, I think it's already getting close to 2 hours and I need to do something with my head, to drink some pills and to go sleep. I guess it's the right decision. Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you those people who support me on Super Chat. Sorry guys, I couldn't reply to some of the comments here, but we have what we have. Stay hydrated. Yeah, I'm trying. Sorry if I say something that you do not like, because I sometimes change my opinions also based on facts provided. So if you have something to say, you may also put some comments under the video. Then I'll publish it. This live stream, I mean, and yeah, just nice to spend the time with you. And I'm gonna go sleep, and we're gonna make Sunday streams, I hope, regular activity on the channel. See you guys, and